Good morning everybody, it's Brett here, Lionheart84. It's a gently breezy Sunday morning, and this video, follow up on the state of my brebas, is in response to a question by one of my subscribers, Andrew Hunter. Wants to know if my breba fig had survived the storm force winds. Andrew, yes, it's still hanging on at the moment. Good size as well for the end of May, really. This looks like it would be ready in late June or early July, so very early for a breba. Now, this fig is meant to be a Rouge De Bordeaux. It was bought from a large garden centre as part of a chain, labelled with a printed label as Rouge De Bordeaux. I think they also had maybe white Marseille or Brunswick, and they certainly had brown turkey. I have my suspicions. The shape of the fig, based on looking online at pictures of Rouge de Bordeaux, it seems to be a very round fig with a very short neck. This looks like a very long-necked fig, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if it hasn't been incorrectly sold by the nursery, and it might turn out to be brown turkey. One of the problems with a country like the UK is basically very few fig varieties are easily available here. I mean, there's one or two specialist growers you can approach, but 99% of garden centres you can buy figs, but it's always brown turkey. They basically, it's just a standard common or garden fig here because it's reliable in our climate. So when you want to buy other name varieties, you have to hunt around a fair bit, and it seems to be very common that these varieties are misnamed even from big nurseries. I think one of the problems is they don't grow the figs themselves. They buy them in from wholesale growers, and it would be extremely easy for a batch of cuttings or young plants to get mixed up at one of these nurseries, because basically when you're looking at a young fig plant, you can't, and obviously they've got no fruits on, they all look the same, or most look the same. You can't tell from the leaves, or you can't easily tell from the leaves. Some obviously, like ice crystal, look very distinctive, but it's not easy to tell from the leaves without fruit as well what variety you've got. So I'm fairly sure, looking at the leaves on this and the shape of the fruit, even though it's a breba, and breba fruits sometimes are a different shape to the main crop fruit, I don't think this is going to turn out to be a Rouge de Bordeaux. I'm thinking it's like, well, it might unfortunately be a brown turkey, but it would be nice, it would be okay if it was a Brunswick or a white Marseille, but I'm thinking Brunswick is a possibility. Now, in the normal scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you've got a large garden and you've got 20 or 30 varieties of figs, it's not going to make any difference at all which one's planted where normally. But in my case, I planted this one in excuse me, what was meant to be a specimen position by my deck, and I really wanted to have a variety that was different to the run-of-the-mill brown turkey. I thought it'd be nice to have a small purple fruit, plus it's a nice sunny position. I thought it'd have more chance of fruiting. So a little bit frustrating that this probably won't turn out to be a Rouge de Bordeaux, but what I am pleased about is the first year it's had a fig on it that looks like it's going to make it to ripeness, because it had a few main crop ones started to form last year but didn't start to form till August, so obviously they were no use at all. But as this one's a breba, it should be ready by late June, July. Now, in fact, I have got more than one. I've got a second breba fig here. Whoopee. Better than nothing. Now, you can quite clearly see, although the fig's a similar shape, there it is in there, the leaves look quite a lot more cut than on that other fig. Now this one is actually a Goutte D'Or. I think that's probably more of a green or yellowy fig with a paler flesh. I'll have to have a look up later. So I have got a second breba fig here. Other than that, the figs are fairly devoid. There was one here I left on the plant, which was probably a leftover from last year, because it was quite a nice green colour, and I thought there was a chance that it would hold on and grow. In fact, looking underneath there, I can see there is actually another fig there which might be a breba. Now this is on an unnamed That's an unnamed variety, that one, I think. Let me have a look at the label. It just says Jason Unnamed, large red, and I bought that from a Cypriot private seller in London. He was just selling some rooted plants that originally came back from Cyprus, so no idea what variety it is or what it's going to look like when it fruits. As I said, it's a very common issue with these plants being mislabeled, because I've got another one here that's meant to be I forget what the striped one's called now, panache. Now I can't see any signs of variegation on the leaves or stems, and this came from a large nursery which was Sutton's, so it might be a bit early days yet, but that may well turn out not to be a panache. But unfortunately it is the bane of our lives in this country, getting incorrectly named plants. It's a very common occurrence. Same thing happened with my passion fruit over here. This was originally meant to be an incarnata when I bought it. When it flowered a year later, turned out to be amethyst, so ornamental only, but never mind, it is what it is, and they still look nice. So I just thought I'd do a short update video on my brebas. There is only one on this plant, but it's growing really nicely, so I might try pinching a couple of tips like some of the fig growers do in America, just to see if we get a warm June, July and August, if I might better force a couple of main crop figs by, if I could possibly force some main crop figs by the beginning of September. I don't think it's going to happen, but this is a very strong tree, so there is a possibility it could do it. Anyway, that was for you, Andrew. That was a quick update on my, what actually turns out to be 2 brebas, possibly 3. They're all holding on at the moment despite the wind, so I'll look after the plants, and hopefully there's a chance of getting something off them this summer. Thank you everybody else for watching, much appreciate it. Welcome as usual to share the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in growing unusual fruits either here or in other countries, and please remember to like the video, and if you hit the bell you will get updated or notified about future videos, which will include videos on the figs should any of them make it to maturity. Catch up with everyone soon. Brett out.